What's up, world? What is going on? My name is John, and this is chapter 15 of my crazy life story. Alright, so in my previous video, I summed up my stay in United States between 2000 and 2003, and I want to move on to my next chapter. But before I do that, I want to mention what is going on in my life at this current moment, at this time. So I am in city of Havířov in Czech Republic, and I'm staying at my sister's studio apartment. And because I don't have any money, I'm flat broke. She's feeding me. I live here for free, and I'm dealing with crisis, a life crisis, and because I got denied from America, I got banned from America, and I still have a house in America that I'm selling right now, but I still didn't sell it, so I don't have any money, and I'm basically just killing time by recording these videos, pre-recording these videos, because I cannot really upload them on the internet yet because I don't have enough data on the internet. And I'm currently also looking for a job locally, and actually yesterday, on Monday, February 26th, I was at a local language school where they teach English. I was actually applying for a job as a English language teacher, which I'm not really convinced if I'll be able to do, if I really want to do it, or if I really be able to do it, because I know I can speak, I can write, I can read, but I can't really probably explain it to the students the way it should be explained. So I'm not really sure if they're gonna hire me. They probably won't, but anyway, I gave it a shot. And this morning I went to a doctor again to get my blood drawn again, because last time I was there they forgot to draw my blood for tests for Lyme disease and chlamydia and infection or rheumatoid arthritis or whatever, because I'm trying to get some answers on what is going on with my body. So I also get like a thyroid gland test, and so I gave blood again, and next week I should have some results on that. So I wanted to mention this. And also, it's like freaking freezing outside. It's like 5 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and at night it's like below zero, I guess. I don't know. It's like freaking cold, and lots of snow. I can show on the camera. This is a city center. It's like a central park out there, and the snow is there. It's been there continuously for like 3 weeks, and it's not going down, it's not melting. And actually there is a lake nearby. It's called Čerlická přehrada, and we used to live there when I was a young boy. We used to live there. We used to have a house over there by the lake, and the lake is gonna be frozen right now. So what we were thinking with my sister, we're gonna go there and skate and take some videos and pictures, probably later this week. Okay, so let me get on with my story, with my next chapter. So back in 2003, when I was in Georgia, in Atlanta area, in Stockbridge, I've decided I want to quit floors because I couldn't handle it anymore. I was in pain, and I was tired and frustrated, depressed, and I wanted to quit, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I was so weak. I wanted to just rest, and if I could find a way how to make easy money without working, it would be probably the best way for me to just recover. But I didn't know what to do. You know, frankly, I didn't know what to do, like how I'm going to make money uh, without, because I didn't have any money saved up, so I couldn't really start any kind of business, or I didn't want to go work in construction because the heat, like during the day in Georgia. I mean, Georgia is a hot country, is probably even hotter than Florida because there is so much humidity. So I mean, you get out the apartment and you instantly get sweat. So and I know that, I remember that because when I was dating this stripper girl Nancy, it was also like during the summer, and sometimes, after work, I would go to her house, and I would be riding her lawnmower, and cutting the grass, and it was so hot. I mean, I was literally dying in that heat. And when I was also like really tired from the night shifts, and so the heat, I was getting like kind of heat stroke or whatever. The heat is crazy. I mean, it's really hot. South parts of United States, get really hot when you are not like on the beach, like where it's like pretty windy, and you can, uh, go in the ocean, and get, chilled. But inland, like in Georgia, in center Georgia or central Florida, is like super hot, and 100 degrees, no problem. And so, what I was gonna say, uh, yeah, that I didn't want to work construction because it was so hot. And so one day I got this crazy idea, because at Walmart they had a 200% guarantee on the meat. So if you bought a meat and it was bad, and then you returned it back, uh, you get double the money. Okay, so if you get a steak for $20 and you return it, you get $40. So I got this crazy idea, man. I was thinking that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be traveling around the United States, and I'll be just driving from Walmart to Walmart, and I'll be just buying and returning meat. I'll be making money for gas and for food, and I should be making like even more money than what I was making on the floors. I did the numbers. There's like over 2,000 Walmarts across the United States, and they were like, I don't know, 20 miles apart maybe, so they were like really close. And I did the numbers, and I figured I'll be able to do like maybe from 5 to 10 Walmarts a day. And I could be making money like this, just travel, do nothing, just buying and returning bad meat. So I grew bad meat. I just left a pack of chicken breast, like outside, in the heat, and in a couple days it started stinking. So then one day I actually tried it before I even left on my journey. I tried it at Stockbridge Walmart. I bought a meat, then I went home. I put stinky meat on it, so it stinks like really bad. I mean, when you smell it, you will like fucking vomit, you know. And then I put it back in the bag, and took it to Walmart, and I would go to like customer service, and and I was getting like really nervous, if they're gonna notice anything, or and you have the cameras up there, and all the customer service assistants, them ladies, they always like really strict, and everybody's trying to do the work responsibly, So and there's like always a line of people, so you keep waiting for quite some time, and so it was my turn, and I was returning the meat, and I got double money back with, no problem. So I figured, man, this is cool. I'm gonna quit, cleaning the Walmarts right now, and I mean, I don't have, any better ideas right now. I mean, I am illegal in United States, I cannot really legally do anything, um, and I don't really want to work anymore. So I'm gonna do this. And even though I knew my car is like half broken down, with that knocking engine, the crankshaft was knocking, and I knew the engine is bad, but I was, thinking I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna leave, and maybe, eventually I'm gonna get the engine fixed, or I'm gonna get another car, or whatever. And I ended up fixing it a few times. Like I pulled like next to like interstate exit, because it started knocking like a lot, and I was thinking, I'm gonna fix it. So I put it like on a ramp, like right by the interstate. I put it on the ramp, and I took it apart from the bottom. I took down the oil pan, and I was trying to clean it, and I didn't really know what was wrong with it. Um, and then I put it back together, and I remember it was like really pain in the ass. I had to like caulk it, and put all the screws back together, and it was all dirty, and it took me all day, in the heat, by the road. Everybody was looking at me like I'm some kind of crazy guy, and I did this like not once but couple times, few times, and I was also trying to like fix it on the parking lot, like at front of the apartment. I was like trying to clean inside the engine, and I started using like really thick oil, but basically the crankshaft was busted, and it was like progressively getting worse, uh, and you know eventually the car died, but I'm gonna get to it. so so one day I just packed my bags, my computer. I figure out my plan, like how I'm gonna do it, how I'm gonna sleep in my car, because I was gonna sleep in my car. I didn't have any money for like hotels or whatever. I just had a little bit money for gas, and uh, actually I had probably like maybe like $1,500. I had some money because I got my last paycheck from my boss, and uh, mm, I, I I got all my stuff. I put it in a trunk. Then I remember I threw away in dumpster lots of stuff, so I don't carry around lots of stuff. I had to figure out how I'm gonna eat. Where I'm gonna be taking shower, what I'm gonna eat. How I'm gonna sleep. So I put like I had a tinted windows on my Chrysler Concorde. I had tinted windows. I actually got few tickets for that because in some states, it's illegal. Um, so I even put some blinds on that too, so people don't see me. I'm sleeping in there. Uh, so basically, I got it all planned out. I got me a map, like regular paper map, because at that time there was no GPS. And I had a laptop, and I actually got internet on my laptop. I bought one of those PCM CIA cards, and you could like plug it in on the side of the laptop. They don't make those anymore. You could just plug it in and get cell phone, the GSM cell phone network, internet, and that's how I was actually planning my routes. Um, on like Yahoo Maps. At that time it was Yahoo Maps or MapQuest. I don't think it was Google Maps yet, so I think it was the MapQuest. So in the paper map from Walmart, I would find the address on it, and then I would punch it in the computer, and it showed me the route, and that's how I was traveling from Walmart to Walmart, and returning bad meat. I actually wrote a book about it, and I was trying to sell that book. I wrote the book like back in 2005, but I never published it. And then I was trying to publish it in like 2012, and I never sold any copies anyways. But anyway, I wrote a book about it. It's kind of made up. It's half made up and half true story. But this is what I'm gonna talk about now. It's a true story. Okay, so I left Stockbridge with my bad meat, and my journey first took me to like Florida. Okay, so I was like zigzagging, going to, I went to Miami, and I was going back up north to I think back to Georgia, and then I was like kind of going a little bit west to like let me check the map. Let me check on the map here. Alabama, um, uh, let me zoom out. Yeah, so I went to like Alabama, and then up north to Tennessee, Tennessee and South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and I did hundreds and hundreds of stores, but things didn't really go as easy as I was planning it out, because at some of the stores they didn't want to give me any extra money. At some of the stores they would give me a meat, new meat and money, and at some stores I would get the double money. So I probably had like, I don't know, maybe 40, maybe 50% success with this. Okay, so if I visited 10 stores, I would succeed at five. I would get a double back, so double money back. So during that day, I probably made like $100. Okay. So and some days I didn't make anything, and some days I made more. Okay. So in the beginning, I was getting really nervous, and sometimes it turned into like total theater with all the managers coming over from the meat department. Like every time I brought the meat back, always somebody else came in and double checked and double verified, and sometimes it was like real theater, like five managers would show up, and the store manager, and the meat department manager, and all the people would be like looking at my stinky bag, and I remember all these crazy stories, but I'm not gonna talk about every single story. I mean, you can probably get the idea what I was going through. Actually, I wrote this in very specific details in my book, and if I ever start writing my blog, I'm gonna write in more details, like everything I'm saying here. I can't like really say everything in so many details, because it would take a really long time. So I was traveling, from store to store, and at every Walmart it was different situation scenario with returning the meat. Different people, different reactions. Sometimes it was no problem at all, and I would get the money instantly, and it's sometimes it took like an hour before somebody decided what to do with that meat. And but most of the cases, I got new meat and money. So I didn't have a way how to cook the meat, so I usually just threw it away. And at some point, I actually uh, cooked it, or grilled it. I don't remember. I think I got like a little grill and I grilled it because it was, free meat. and and another thing with this was I had to figure out how I'm gonna, be taking showers. Okay, how I'm gonna be cleaning myself so I don't stink myself. Not only the meat stink, but I started stinking also. So I figured, I remember one time I tried to join like a gym, like YMCA or whatever, and the first visit you got, they usually let you work out for free. Okay, so every time you go to some kind of gym, YMCA, Gold's Gym, or any other gym, usually when you go there for the first time, they let you work out for free, and that worked out for me. So actually, because every gym I went to, I was there only one time and for the first time. All right, so I even started working out again. Okay, so I bought me a protein. I was making me protein shakes, and I really started getting my muscle mass back because I lost in those 3 years. I lost everything I gained before I came to the United States. So I actually started working out again, and I was sleeping at night in my car on my back seat, and the Chrysler Concorde is pretty wide sedan vehicle. So I'm a small guy. I'm 5'7", so I could kind of stretch myself in the bag, and I was sleeping in my back seat. Um, and I started working out. So every time I went to the gym, I got a free pass, and I took a shower, and I brushed my teeth, and I shaved, and I worked out. I talked to people, I even shot some videos. I have some videos on my computers from that time too, and pictures and all that. I was documenting, everything, and maybe one day I can post some pictures. I'm definitely gonna post the pictures on my blog when I start writing my blog, and so this was going on like this for a couple months. I don't remember how long this was. I think it was like 3 months, and I made some money. I saved up some money, but I didn't save up a lot because I was trying to fix the car also, and I got some speeding tickets too. I mean, like I was going 70 and 35, and sometimes cops stopped me just for no reason, just because I had tinted windows, and they thought I'm smuggling drugs or whatever. So I got pulled over a few times, and I had to pay the tickets. Um, anyway, I don't really remember how much money I had when my journey ended, and my journey ended when my car died in Virginia, close to or was it like Maryland, close to Washington, Baltimore area. I don't really remember exactly. I think in my picture archive, I probably have the exact location there. I'm gonna have to look it up. And at that time, my friend Roman, that I was talking about before, the guy that I met in Americus, Georgia, and then we reunited in Griffin. Uh, he actually, at that time when my car broke down, he actually was working cleaning Walmarts in Delaware area, or Maryland area, and and I called him. Hey man, I need help. My car broke down, and I like on the interstate. So I just pulled over and onto the side, um, and and I called Roman, and he came, picked me up, and we towed the car to like a nearest plaza, parking lot, shopping uh, mall plaza, uh, like the nearest exit, and and I was trying to fix the car, and I realized I cannot fix it, and I realized that I'm gonna need a job again. So we pulled the car to I think it was Waldorf. Uh, where was it? Waldorf, yeah. Waldorf. Is it a Delaware? I think it's a Delaware. That's where he was staying, I think, at that time. And I moved in with a bunch of people. Actually, I didn't move in with him, but he called his boss, and they moved me to another apartment with again, I was back after like 3 months. My car broke down, and I was back in the Walmart situation. Okay, and I didn't have much money saved up, and and I parked my broken down Chrysler Concord in front of that apartment building, and I moved in with again with 5 6 people who were cleaning stores in Delaware area, Czech people, Slovak people, and the story, my cleaning story started again, but it was like really crazy story. It wasn't as simple like staying at one spot for 16 months. Since that day I've been moving like all over the place. Okay, so I don't remember exactly chronologically like where I was or what I was doing. At some point, I was stripping and waxing stores with a couple of guys, Czech guys, in Washington, Baltimore area. Okay, so we would be like driving. They had a minivan, and they would come pick me up, and then I actually moved in with them for a short period of time. They lived in bad neighborhood in Baltimore area. It's like all black neighborhoods, and what I remember from that time, like they had like really old and nasty apartment, like full of cockroaches. Like the cockroaches were everywhere, man, and you couldn't like get rid of it. I mean, it was infested with cockroaches, and that's pretty common thing in America, having cockroaches. I mean, we've had cockroaches before in apartments and houses and that, but not as much as this place. I mean, when I woke up at night to go to work and I turned the light on in the kitchen was covered. Uh, the kitchen cabinet, the countertop, and floor. It was covered with cockroaches. And once they sense, I don't think cockroaches have eyes, but they can like feel and sense stuff. So once they sense that someone enters the room, they just disappear. you know. So they run away. They hide in the holes in the walls, and but that place was infested. Anyway, so I was for quite some time. I was stripping. I was helping out. I wasn't like really. I didn't really want to work. I didn't want to do that job. So I didn't want to have any kind of responsibility what I used to have before. It was really exhausting to have responsibility for the work, for all the people, and I would be dealing with the managers all the time and organizing stuff, and I would be the one who would be taking care of all the problems with people, with work, with complaints, when managers were complaining about stuff, and I would be like on the phone with my bosses all the time. So I didn't want to deal with any of this anymore. I just wanted to have as little responsibility as possible. So I just wanted to help out, uh, and so we would be driving around all the shopping centers. We did like Marshalls and these kind of stores, like the small stores. uh, what's it called? Ross, Marshalls, and stuff like that. That's what we did. We were stripping, waxing. Uh, So we did lots of driving, in Washington and Baltimore traffic. Then they moved me, I think, because something tells me the Salisbury in is it Maryland, or is it Delaware? No, that's a Maryland. So this what's it called? Is it island or whatever? It's split in half. Half is Delaware and half is Maryland. So we were also working there. Uh, I started working for I think it was the same boss, um, and he actually still owes me money. He didn't pay me like $2,700. That's what I remember from that time. Uh, and he had Targets and Kmart's. So at one point I moved to Salisbury, and I was living with another people. So this is second place in very short period of time, like within months. And of course I didn't have a vehicle, so I sold my Concorde Chrysler for 800 bucks to a junkyard, you know and basically all these money I had, I spent on like living expenses, food and rent and all that. And so I didn't have a vehicle, so the boss that I was working for, he loaned me like a very old Volkswagen Golf. It was like 1980 something. It was like really old and beat up, and it wasn't cooling. It had the engine was overheating too, and I remember it had like a extra switch inside to turn the. Somebody put it in there. It wasn't there like from the factory. Somebody put it in there to turn the fan on, like the radiator fan on the front. So I was getting stuck in the traffic in Baltimore, Washington area when I was returning from work. And I remember that car was always overheating, and I would have to like turn the fan on, and if it didn't help, I would have to like pull over to the side and wait until the car cools down, and it was also crazy. So I was using that Volkswagen to eventually I actually got my own store, Kmart, and and yeah, I was making pretty decent money there, but it was like really very short period of time, like maybe a month or two. Like I was really moving from place to place. Like ever since that time, I was like really moving from place to place, and what I remember, I had my laptop, and all that all that was left from my Chrysler Concorde was the speakers I built before, and the amplifiers uh, that I mentioned. I built out of a plexiglass, and it was like really good quality sound system. So I kept that because it cost me like tons of money to put it in. So I wouldn't like really sell it to a junkyard. So I kept it. So anywhere I went, I would have to like take it with me. Like I would have to load it, and somebody drove me somewhere else and unload it, and then I was living with some. I met so many different people, like different strange strangers, Czech people, different apartments, and I would like I would always be like extra person in that apartment, and I would always be like sleeping in the living room on the floor, or a sofa, and I dragged my speakers with me everywhere, and I would like store them in the living room, and I even took some pictures. And actually during all this, ever since Griffin, uh, I met online this girl from Slovakia, Katrina, okay. And I mentioned that in one of my previous videos. So I met this girl, and we've been texting and calling, messaging and emailing and all that for about 10 months. Okay, so all these things happened, within 10 months, until I got down south to Florida. I'll get to that. So um, okay, this is 35 minutes, so I'm gonna cut it right here, and I'm gonna talk about what I was going through with the cleaning. And actually, at that time, back in 2003, there was a big FBI, what's it called? Anyway, FBI organized like really uh, big um, event to catch all these illegal uh, aliens cleaning stores. Okay, and it was back in 2003, and I was really lucky I didn't get caught, but all the other people that were working there when I got there in Delaware, Maryland area, all most of those other people got caught. Okay, and that's what I'm gonna talk about next time. I'm gonna look it up online and with the exact date, and I'm gonna talk about it in my next video.